Just when you thought we couldn't possibly do any more football highlights, we go and do something like this.
And totally redeem ourselves. Welcome to the Blitz. I'm John Benson alongside Pat the Shark Maroney, and we've got plenty to get to tonight. But we'll start Region 1A with a Region 1A where 4 teams are all clustered at the top of the standings.
Well, let's hop on that scooter then and head to a little place called Dawson.
I like it.
Mitchell County is 2-0 in the region. They travel to Terrell County tonight to take on the Green Wave. And how's this for striking first? Troy Chester slings it to Joshua King in the end zone. It's like a tractor beam. It sucks him right in. Eagles up 7-0 early. Now Terrell County with the ball. This is Trey Bishop on a designed run play. He cuts it outside, gets down the sidelines, brought down inside the 25-yard line. Then they hand it to Joseph Minter. He squeezes through a couple blocks and moseys on into the end zone, but hold the phone. Laundry on the field. It's coming back, and Terrell County can't get any points on the drive. Then the Eagles run the read option. Chester decides to keep it. That was a wise choice. He gets a bunch of yards before going out of bounds. And then down near the goal line, Chester rolls right and connects with Timothy Williams, and that's another Mitchell County score. They go on to win 27-12. The other 2A team in the other 2-0 team in 1A is Calhoun County here. Later in the first quarter, Calhoun with the ball. Dejon Williams tosses it to Sherrod Williams, and he gets upfield for a nice little gain. Then on 3rd and 2, Dejon Williams finds Jarek Solite, and he takes it all the way in. 53-yard touchdown, puts Calhoun on the board. Look at the wheels on that young fella. Impressive play there. But then we're just getting started here. The Pirates turn to try and respond. Cody Chapman tries to throw it downfield, but it's picked off by Calhoun County Cougar Quentin Taylor, and he's got blockers, defense to offense. He runs it back 40 yards, almost gets to the end zone. Ooh, you know he's going to be frustrated about that one. Brought down just before the line. Very next play, Dejon Williams tosses it to Anthony Johnson. He takes it to the house, put more points on the board. Calhoun up 13-0 after the missed field goal. Miller County here with the ball again, 3rd and inches. They try a QB sneak, but Cody Chapman loses it, picked up by Dejon Williams. That kid is everywhere. He tries for the scoop and score, but a defender steps in the way. Laterals to Jarek Solite, and he finishes the play, taking it all the way in for the touchdown. What a play there by Calhoun County. What a night for the Cougars. They win 39-0.
And moving to 1-2A, where the Pelham Hornets are hosting the Fitzgerald Purple Hurricanes. And these two teams started playing each other once the Jason Strickland era began for Fitzgerald just 3 years ago. And out of those 3 years, Pelham has not beaten the Purple Hurricanes. So it's homecoming in Fitzgerald as the Canes, they would visit there. And Fitzgerald the running game would go to work early. First quarter, J.D. King goes all the way around. He'll carry inside the 25-yard before finally being knocked out of bounds. Canes would cash in from the 3-yard line. Taylor Galden scores for the touchdown. 7-0. Fitzgerald leads early. And then the Purple Hurricanes are just getting started. Next possession, starting inside their own 10. And look at the keeper by the quarterback, Gerald Morgan. And he's off to the races, 85 yards, just one more man to beat, and he gets the stiff arm, and he's in for the score, 14-0. In second quarter now, Fitzgerald going to the air. Morgan finds tight end Lasadis Smith across the middle. Canes with the great downfield blocking there. Smith scores the touchdown, 21-0. Huge win on homecoming night for the Purple Hurricanes, 42-0. Berrien is coming off a high-scoring shootout against Thomasville and a loss last week. Seminole County scored 60 points the week prior. So the first quarter, 4th down for the Rebels. Tyson punts it, and we got a first down. And then the Rebels can't take advantage as Blake would fumble it. He pitches out to Kimball, recovers, and then Javon Wiggins fights off a couple tackles, races downfield for a huge gain for them. And then later, Jody Marick, he takes it in for the Indians. First touchdown of the night. Seminole County would have the lead 7-0. Rebels strike quickly to tie it. Blake gets to find his back there for the long Berrien touchdown, and it's 7-7 out of the first quarter. No struggle for Seminole County, however, tonight with a big win, 61-21. And we are just getting started. Coming up next, we take a look at Region 1 4A and our player of the week. So stay with us. Welcome back. Earlier this week, Westover's Trenton Thompson was honored for being selected to play in the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. But that game isn't until January, so Thompson and his Patriots are continuing to focus on the task at hand, which is defending their region title and preparing for the Dougherty County Trojans tonight. So both teams are entering tonight's game, suffered a loss last week, and in the second half we start out. Dougherty on the punt team, and it's a fake. Faking out everyone, including myself, on camera, and then they get the first down. Few plays later, the Trojans are marching, but Michael Watley throws to Terrius Whitehead, but it's deflected. Dan Land III, an awesome play for an awesome guy with a great name, and he would get the interception. We got a turnover. After the pick, let's just say, hey, Mr. Carter.
Ooh, where have you been?
You know, in case you don't know, that's Quintez Carter with a nice game, almost hitting me on the sidelines for the first down. And then next play, Emery McKenzie drops back, and he's showing off his arm strength, airing this out to Casey Wilson to bring the first down. That's a 1st and goal, actually. Later, it's a 4th and goal now. McKenzie hands this off to Anthony Hill. He's in for the touchdown. And Westover Patriots coming away with a big win, 27-8 over the Trojans. To Worth County, where the Rams are continuing to impress and stay perfect in the sub-region play. Tonight they hosted America's Sumter, first quarter scoreless. Dontavius Buford with the carry, but check out the lead blocking by their fullback, Justin Hope. That's helped to get a couple extra yards there on the possession. Same drive, few plays later, Zatavius Anderson doing work between the tackles, following all the big fellas to the promised land for 6. Sound the cannons. America's Sumter, after the touchdown, they go for it on 4th and down. Yancey gets stuffed there in the backfield like a breakfast burrito before film on Saturday morning. After the turnover, the Rams were back at it. Their running attack kept going. Anderson once again following his blocks for the first down and much more. Same drive, but second quarter, Buford gets the handoff for the touchdown. And Worth County doing work between the trenches. Worth County wins 43-12 over the Panthers.
Thomas County Central didn't get the result they wanted last week when they fell to Cairo on the road. Tonight they return to the Jackets Nest for the final time this season. Let's pick it up in the second quarter. Yellow Jackets up 10-0 at this time. Good crowd on hand in Thomasville. Nick Patterson with the handoff. He pushes into the end zone for a touchdown. 17-0 TCC. Whit Campbell back to pass now, and he is sacked by Jared Eaton, and that would force a Crisp County punt. TCC defense gets off the field. That's what it's all about. Now Patterson with the handoff. More yardage here. Nice gain on first down now. Again with the handoff. He might as well be driving an 84 Sheepdog. 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. Patterson with the handoff. Gets in the end zone for 6. Extra point makes it 24-0 TCC at half. And the Jackets go on to win 38-0. Now it's time for our Player of the Week. Check that, Players of the Week. Let's spotlight a couple running backs who had huge nights last Friday. Colquitt County Saeem King ran for over 300 yards, 308 to be exact, and 3 touchdowns. He's now over the 1,000-yard mark on the season. And Thomasville's Delandon Jones scooted for a cool 205 and reached the end zone twice. Perhaps most importantly, both teams got the win. Congrats to King and Jones for being our Players of the Week. Now let's go out to Chris Neisinger for some weather.
All right, he's definitely a playa and not a limo driver. All right, let's take a look at our forecast. If you're going to the homecoming game, Clark, Atlanta, and Albany State doing battle tomorrow, we'll be around 80 degrees by the time we get about through halftime into the second half. 76 will close things down if you got nightly plans. Not looking bad if you're headed towards Georgia Southern and Georgia State up in Atlanta. A 3 o'clock kickoff. Temperatures will be in the 70s. Right around kickoff time, top out in the mid to upper 70s. And then if you're headed out for nightlife there in Atlanta, it'll be in the 60s throughout the evening, a little bit on the cool side. Here are some scores. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We saw the highlights from JC Stadium a little bit earlier. It's always a good atmosphere out in Fitzgerald.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. And we sent our little Darden Cavaliers to bring us the atmosphere.
I'm Ariel Mallory, your campus correspondent here in JC Stadium, where the Fitzgerald Hurricanes face the Pelham Hornets. Here's some sights and sounds from tonight's game.
Who won reserve champion and champion for 10th grade showmanship.
Back up!
Here on the stop for the Canes. Hornets will be first and 10.
Back to you, Pat and John.
Now I jump over to the GISA. Deerfield Windsor hosting Terrell Academy. This one was all nights. They jumped up big here early. Here's Tyler Lowe rolling out. Hits Howell Logan for a first down, but the Eagles make a play here. They're saying basically with this sack, the town is back that way. Bentley Griffin rips him down for a sack, and then they get on the board. Dalton Todd fits this one between a couple defenders, and Carter Spear makes a play. It's a 33-6 game, but before the half, you think Deerfield's going to run it out. No siree. They keep it in the left lane. This pass to Stephen Williams puts them inside the 30-yard line, threatening again. Those Eagles really struggled on defense tonight. He would eventually be pushed out of bounds, and this is just too easy. Williams walks into the end zone. The score was 39-6 at halftime.
Now we'll stay in the GISA and we'll head over to Chula for a Raider-Panther showdown. You ready, Pat?
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. Start of the second half. Tipped area is up 14-12. Raiders, Stephen Turton in the long, or he'll actually get the handoff right here. Nice little play here. You might as well just say big gulps, huh? Well, see you later. Colt Stevens gets the pass from Alex Roach and the tight end, or that's a nice play down the sidelines, tight ropes, so don't keep the chains moving. Brian Stone then gets the handoff, finds the hole up the middle, races into the end zone for a Raiders score. 2-point conversion is good, so they're up 20-14 in Southland. Now ensuring kickoff, Cleve Bass, he'll kick this and find the hole, and then Josh McKinnon is there to recover it, and then the Raiders don't take advantage, and that's a fumble, and it's back to the Panthers. Kyle Ashley, he makes them pay. He finds Jack Raines with the pass, and Raines down the sidelines for the Panthers. He would score all the way to the house. PAT is good, 21-20 at the half. Well, tipped area would hold on tight, 35-34 for the win. And we've got the play of the week, and of course we've seen this already earlier tonight. Westover and Doherty. The Trojans had a great drive coming off of a fake punt. And Michael Watley's pass gets tipped, and it's intercepted by the freshman with the cool name Dan Land III. The pick would later result in a Patriot touchdown, and more importantly, the win over the Trojans. So congrats to Dan Land III for making our play of the week.
We're not done yet. We'll be back with more highlights, a fan of the week, and much more right after the break.
Welcome back. Randolph Clay started out the 2014 season by winning back-to-back games, but now that Week 2 win was the last W they've seen so far this season.
But every Friday night is a clean slate. Tonight, they're on the road to play Baconton Charter. Let's get to the highlights in Camilla. Randolph Clay up 14-0 in the first quarter. Baconton punting, and Gary McRae tries to field a rolling ball. Muffs it. The Blazers recover deep in Red Devil territory. First and goal now. Blazers and Garrison Dykes powers in for a touchdown. 14-7 Red Devils. It's almost like we landed on the moon. Ensuing kickoff. Red Devils must miss a short kickoff, and the Blazers jump on it and get the ball right back. Now, Dykes with the handoff. Here he goes. Sheds a would-be tackler, and he goes all the way for a touchdown. Showing off those wheels. 2-point conversion makes it 15-14 Blazers. Now it's Artie Lee with the handoff for Randolph Clay. And there he goes. Outruns the defense to the sideline. Uses a little stutter step to strolls in for a touchdown. 2-point conversion makes it 22-15. Randolph Clay at the half. They put up 64 on Bacon Charter and win 64-27.
Now, football coaches are all different. Everyone has a unique story.
Now let's get to know Crisp County head coach Lee Campbell in a new segment called Meet the Coach. Thank you, Coach Campbell, for being here. But when did you decide that you wanted to be a football coach?
Well, I've always wanted to do that. My biggest influence was Coach Jeff Caldwell, my head coach. Learned so much about football and just about life in general. How to, every day's not easy, and you got to get up and grind no matter how good you feel, how bad you feel. It's something I always wanted to do. I feel like it's a calling. Working with the young people of today.
In your years as a coach, how much have you grown on the job?
Oh, a lot. When I first started, you're full of fire and brimstone, and me personally, you wouldn't give kids much room. If they screwed up, all you're done. And that wasn't the way to do it. But real hard-nosed and still hard-nosed, but giving kids another chance. That's one way I've grown.
What's the most rewarding part of the job?
Well, watching kids grow and mature, come up through the ranks, from 8th grade, 7th grade, 9th grade, all the way up, and just watching them grow, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally, watching them mature as a young man.
Your son is your quarterback right now. I mean, that's not something that happens every day. How special has that been?
It's been real special to have him out on the field. He's at work with me every day, so I get to spend that extra time with him, and we leave it on the field. I don't bring it home, and it's just been real special coaching him and just being around him and good quality time out there on the field.
Okay. Thank you very much, Coach. I appreciate it.
All right, it's time for our Fan of the Week, and we go back out to Bacon Charter, and it was homecoming night for the Blazers. And we have some ladies from homecoming court, all 5 of them waving, cheering their teams on. Unfortunately, didn't get the win, but the school spirit was definitely there in support for their team. So congratulations for being our Fan of the Week. And if you're watching this late, you've got to be a football fan, and you got to get involved in our You Pick'em. You go to the internet machine, go to WFXL.com, go online, and you could create a profile. Click on the tab that says 2014 Pro You Pick'em Challenge. Is at the top of the page of the website, and then you create a profile and you're in. And after that, all your picks, you pick from the weekend's NFL games, like the Falcons this weekend are playing in London at 9:30 in the morning, so make sure you get up and cheer on the Atlanta Falcons. And each week we announce a winner where you can win money to Subway, and each week the prizes get bigger and better each week. So be sure to check out the You Pick'em Challenge and compete against myself and Pat the Shark Maroney. But we'll go back over to Chris for one more final look at some weather.
Yeah, and I believe I'm doing pretty good in that challenge right here around the station. 53 degrees at the Albany Airport. We're continuing to fall off these numbers now at 50 and Adel, as well as Nashville and Pearson. We're going to head right through the 50s into the 40s by tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., about 47. Should get a low here in the Albany area right around 45 degrees. Now then through tomorrow, sunshine. We start off chilly in the morning, 68 at noon, 80 degrees to finish. So by and large, a very nice forecast there for tomorrow for homecoming and the like. And as we get into early next week, we still got a pretty good day on Monday, our warmest day of the week, 85 degrees. Cool it down just a bit in the middle and end of next week with rain chances returning by that time period.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance.
All right, well, we'll be back next week with more scores and highlights in another episode of The Blitz.